Hey everybody, welcome to Jedediah's Corner. I'm Jedediah. Today I want to talk about a topic that is very, very complex. We have a real problem here. A real problem with the way that we interact with technology. And of course, it may seem pretty hypocritical because I'm posting a video on TikTok about this. But hear me out. Um, Maybe when I was a kid, I was born in the '80s, late '80s, and when I was a child, we would go outside and play. And this is kind of an annoying line from older people to talk about how we used to go outside and play with each other, and now everybody's inside. And when I was a kid, it was like, if you had an Xbox or an N64 or something like that, you're rotting your brain. You're just playing these video games. Now there are some benefits to playing video games. We know actually they're using some video games to help people treat ADD, which is very interesting. But for the most part, what we're doing is we're looking for an escape. We're looking for a way to feel better about life. We're looking for a way to at least avoid our problems for a little while, to receive a little bit of solace, to entertain ourselves, to be distracted. The problem is, that's not inherently a bad thing, but the problem is this technology is built and designed to keep us on these platforms, to keep scrolling, to keep clicking, to keep looking, to keep watching, to keep engaging. And that in and of itself is not inherently bad either. But like anything that produces dopamine, anything that gives you a high, anything that helps you escape your problems, it can become an addiction. And the problem with this particular addiction is it is shortening people's attention spans, and it's limiting your ability to consume large amounts of information and to process complex ideas. Especially in this age of noise, we have to be able to process complex ideas. We have to be able to hold two competing ideas in our minds and view the merits of both and weigh the two against each other. But it's a lot easier to just put a label on yourself and accept whatever it is that your group says is okay without doing any investigation into whether you actually believe in it or not, or whether your moral compass points in that same direction. To be a healthy human being, there are certain elements that we all require. We all require a loving community. We all require parental type figures. If they're not our own biological parents, we need mentors. We need people that will guide us and usher us into the next stage in our life. Life is nothing but change. We are constantly changing. If you're in high school, the things that you care about now, the things that really matter to you, you get bullied, or someone says something to you, or you like this girl and she doesn't like you back. These things in the moment can seem like they matter more than anything else in the entire world. And what younger people need is people that have gone through that stage to talk to them and to say, hey, I've been there. I understand what you're going through. Your feelings and everything are relevant. And I can tell you that when you grow and as you change, your views on things will adjust. The things that you think matter more than anything else in the world right now, you won't even remember. So we have to steel ourselves, especially if we're in some sort of activism or some sort of trying to make some sort of positive change in the world. We have to steel ourselves and understand that the world is not like this online world, the real world. Clickbait articles and quick videos and press the button and move on, and listen to the 24-hour news cycle. Everyone repeats the exact same stories and then you move on. It's a form of programming. So these algorithms that create these great echo chambers that you can go into and you can see like all the content that you really enjoy, that can be a positive thing. But if you don't actively seek to escape from that echo chamber, if you don't use the search button, if you're not curious, if you don't take your curiosity and use it to investigate different things, you're going to get stuck in a bubble where you only hear people who agree with you. You only hear ideas that you've already heard reiterated over and over again. And it will limit your capacity for reason, for critical thinking, to understand logic. So I would encourage everyone to take time to do things that are not on your phone. Go outside and garden. Go outside. I mean, it's freezing cold on the East Coast. I expect too many people to go outside. Learn to play an instrument. Read a book. And when I was a kid, there was a push for that. I forget, there was like this really interesting poster they would put in libraries. I think it was like, read books, get brain. And I guess at the time, I mean, now it maybe doesn't mean anything, but that was like an analogy for something else. You can figure it out. Brain, head, da, da, da. So there were incentives to read. I remember getting all these little buttons at the local library. I read 10 books, I read 15 books, I read 20 books. I'm not bragging about being smarter than anybody else. There's many people that are much smarter than me that would wipe the floor with my intellect. But I fall off very often. I get stuck in the loop. I get stuck playing games on my phone. I get stuck just looking at little short videos. And I noticed this was a part of myself that is lacking because of that. And then when I distance myself from some of the political debate and the anger and the back and forth, and I focus on my home life, when I focus on my family, I focus on the people in my community that I care about. I try to do something to help someone else, not to receive anything in return, but just because it is the right thing to do. Many of us are given much more than the people that are around us. And I would say that it's our duty, it is our obligation to take some of the excess of what we have and help the people around us, directly around us, help them to reach a level of equality so that we can all compete in the same playing space, essentially on the same level. Of course, depending on our abilities, depending on our interests. I mean, we're not all going to be the exact same thing, and we're not promised anything in this world. So I maybe have rambled a bit and gone a little bit in circles, but I really feel like this is an important message to get across. The change that we want to make in the world, it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a really strong spirit that is willing to or able to be defeated and get right back up and say, all right, this didn't work, let me try something else. All right, this didn't work, let me try something else. The young people in at least in America, and I'm an American, I'm speaking in this country and from this country's perspective for the most part. I try to learn more about other countries and other cultures, and I celebrate the differences that we all have. But I am speaking, from an American perspective, and I don't know if this is a uniquely American issue or not. I doubt it. Everybody's got iPhones. They're all over the world. So use the technology, use the tools that you have to benefit you. But don't forget about the old ones too. Reading a book does something to our brains. It allows us to imagine in our own minds what the words are saying, and we create these pictures, and we feed our imagination. We water our imagination by reading books, and it's easy to forget this because it's almost like kind of a lost art. So I hope this didn't come across as like condescending or self-righteous. I just feel that if I take 5 or 10 minutes to try and learn how to play the piano, if I take a half hour to read a chapter of a book, if I take a little bit of time to talk to my family, to talk to the community around me, to do what I can to help people that have less than me, then my life is much richer and much fuller, and I'm much happier, and I'm a much more effective advocate. It's easy to get caught up in emotion online, and there's a lot of things to be angry about, but it's important for us to, if we want to help other people, to have a solid foundation of our own. God bless you all, and I hope you have a happy Wednesday. Pray for the people in Gaza, whatever faith you hold. Pray for them because they're being killed, and just put yourself in their shoes. Imagine being born there. Imagine having to deal with all the displacement. Imagine living in a home months ago and now being in a tent under bombardment.